Listen, what I'm about to say now, again, it's very common sense, and I would even say it's naturally making sense. Nevertheless, I need to record this message because many people, unfortunately, also many believers, lack making sense. Okay, it comes down to the following. When you notice that something is confusing, that something doesn't add up, or that something may potentially be dangerous, what do? You evaluate it, you examine it. You're not going to just act based on some feeling. No, you evaluate what's going on, and if you realize that indeed there is danger, you remove yourself, and if possible, you alert others. The moment you get those warning signals, you pay attention to them. You don't brush them off. Look, it comes down to this. Stop enabling household wickedness. Okay, let me say it again so it will get through to you. Stop enabling household wickedness. I've spoken often about household wickedness. And I also explained in a recent Remind video that household wickedness is the main evil that most people are dealing with. Or better said, all people deal with household wickedness. It just depends how they deal with it. Many just cope with it. A minority overcomes it and tramples upon it. Now look, household wickedness is the type of evil that people often don't notice until it's way too late. Some never notice it and it turns fatal onto them. And I already explained that the reason why people often don't see household wickedness is because they don't want to see it. I raise my voice, I know, but I need to raise my voice so that the message is highlighted. Most people don't see household wickedness because they don't want to see it. They are in denial. So they are enabling the wickedness around them. And I'm telling you, just don't do it. Quit it. Stop enabling household wickedness. Okay, let me give an example. Let's say you have a single mother, okay, because the father, well, that guy is gone. She can't really help it, but okay. Now let's say there's a family gathering and everyone's there. If you notice that the single mother is kind of talking bad about her own kids, just to get sympathy from others, the moment you notice this, you need to alert yourself and think, hold on a minute, this ain't right. You're the one that slept around having those babies, so if you're frustrated, that's on you, not on the children. And you also should realize that it goes way too far, that she not only blames her own kids, but she also wants sympathy from others for blaming her own kids. And she even expects you to be so stupid to agree with her. So she's also insulting all of you with that attitude. So when you have that single mom, if you notice it, you alert others and you talk about it. And once others realize that indeed it's wrong, you collectively have to make things onto her. Let's say her name is Sarah. Sarah, listen. It's hard for you being a single mom and all of that, and we're willing to help you, but please, don't blame your kids for your stupid behavior. You're the one that was whoring around here and there. Nobody made you do it. That was your will, right? Well, listen, we don't take it that you are treating children like this. So stop it. Just make plain onto her that you folks don't take it. Because if she keeps coming over there and she keeps complaining and you guys keep giving her sympathy, you are enabling her evil. You are enabling child abuse. That's what you're doing. You become a culprit in child abuse. So make plain onto her that you don't take her behavior. And also make plain onto her that if you hear anything happening with those kids on her care, she's in trouble with you. Make plain onto her it's not going to happen. If, for example, one of your relatives is married to a man that's either a drunkard or he has his narcissistic tendencies, narcissistic rage and all of that, do the same thing. And also make plain onto your relative who's married to the guy that, okay, listen, you married the guy, You're the one remaining with him, but we don't take his trash over here. Okay, he can't behave. That's fine, but listen, you're the one married to him. So you're the one sleeping with him, so you're the one enabling him if he remains in that state. So if you want to do that, you can keep him. But we do not want to become the target of his rage ever. Because we will report him to the police, we will take action to keep safety. We won't go into revenge and all of that, but we will take proper actions. And if you enable him in any way towards us in a harmful manner, we go no contact with you. Straight up. Look, I'm quite direct in these parables. I'm a man also. Maybe that's why I'm so direct. I am empathic. I do care how other people feel, but not at the expense of safety. And in the parables I just gave unto you of that single mother and that wife or that narcissistic husband, there is danger. And the danger can spread around. So you, as the bystanders there, who are involved with those people, ought to make plain you don't agree with it, you don't take it, and you take proper actions to guard safety. You don't take actions out of hatred or out of self-validation, you take actions out of safety, so that safety is guaranteed. That is your natural responsibility towards the community and towards one another. What you, however, see happen often is that among relatives or even among friends or among peer groups, people just want to be left alone, so they mind their own business because they want to be accepted by the community. So when they notice that something doesn't add up, they may talk about it, they may gossip about it, but they leave it at that. And if the victim begins to act out in malfunction, they pretend as if they don't know. Because if the truth comes out that they knew something was going on, but they didn't take any action, people are going to ask them why. They don't want that. So now they need to pretend that what is happening with the victim is something alien to them. They don't know anything about. I know how this world operates. I know how these things go. And I'm telling you, do not comply nor contribute. Don't comply with and don't contribute with household wickedness. Don't contribute to household wickedness, don't comply with it. That's what I mean. Don't do it. I'm telling you, when you enable household wickedness, not only do you become a culprit together with others, but those that commit the violence will blackmail you because you enabled them. Yes, they will. And they may turn on you also. Listen, this is why it's very important to evaluate the people you hang around with. Because look, if you hang around a friend and he enables household wickedness in his own household, I'm telling you, sooner or later, this attitude of enabling household wickedness will affect you also. Because people that enable household wickedness, they just want to save their own arse. That expression is quite harsh, but that's really what's going on. They just want to save their own comfort. And when needed, they will betray someone to save their own comfort. So if you have someone that enables household wickedness and they are close to you, then why can't they never turn on you and sacrifice you to save their own comfort? They will. I'm telling you, they will. I'm not telling you to cut everyone off and become a loner and to live like a hermit. Absolutely not. You should have relationships and you should forgive people. You should move on and if possible, you reconcile. You should have loving relationships with other people. That's all true. But in order for all that to happen, there must be safety. And when household wickedness is enabled, there is no safety. So why would you contribute to unsafety? Why would you contribute to the collective danger? If more people would stop contributing to household wickedness, I'm telling you, much, much of the violence that's going on would simply stop. The reason, the reason most of the violence in the world continues is because the violence is condoned. It's tolerated by the community. So the community itself is a collective perpetrator. I'm going to give another parable, hold on. When, for example, you have a lady who is involved with a guy, and the lady keeps talking bad about her exes or keep talking bad about one of her cousins. The man she's involved with should, one way or the other, he doesn't have to do it so directly as I'm doing here because I'm just teaching you here. But he can make plain on to her there. Why do you keep talking so bad about those other people? You're with me, right? So why is it relevant to keep mentioning how bad they were? Or hold on a minute, why is it so bad to keep putting all those people down? Aren't you happy? Well, in one way or the other, he ought to hold her accountable for her attitude. If he doesn't do it, but he just gets along, just because he doesn't want to lose her, or because he just wants to have his sexual access to her, if he does this, if he has this attitude, he is enabling her dysfunction. And worse, there are quite some men who not only they enable the dysfunction of their partners, they even go so far to defend it. If she says she's upset with certain people, she's fed up, the guy takes up for her and looks for a fight with those people, just to please her. He becomes dangerous to other people just for her sake. Don't even care whether she's right or wrong. It's all about saving his own comfort. You have such losers out there, quite of them. Now, if you are a man and one of your buddies is like this, I'm not telling you to just cut them off. No, you can still have contact with them, but please, indirectly or directly, let them know that you don't stand behind that cowardly Ahab behavior. And that as a man, he ought to man up and operate as a man. And to be a reliable supplier of male energy instead of feeding off feminine toxic energy, which is abominable unto the Most High. If, however, this so-called buddy or friend of yours persists in being like this, then understand that sooner or later, he will take out his frustrations on one of you. Because he is a Judas. He endangers others just to protect his non-sexual supply that he gets from his girlfriend or from his wife. He goes so far to defend wrongdoing just to be at ease. So why wouldn't he ever decide to take it out on you? You're close to him, right? He can set you up. I'm telling you, holding people accountable isn't just about addressing their behaviors, also how you relate to them. Okay? Often you don't even have to address people directly or indirectly about their behavior or about their attitude. The way you relate to them can also send off the signal whether you are in line with something or not. I mean, that's why in the New Testament it says that when you have someone who claims to be a believer, but he or she persists in the negative, don't even receive them in your home. Because if you receive them, you partake in their evil works. Why? Because they are going to perceive you welcoming them as approval for their negativity. And once they feel, or once they interpret that you accept the negativity, they feel empowered to continue in it. Look, in the New Testament it's also written, if someone claims to be a believer, yet he persists in the negative, shut him out of the community of believers. Don't even eat with someone like that, and don't communicate with them. We are not told as believers to excommunicate unbelievers. We are told to excommunicate those that claim to be believers but persist in the negative. Why is that? Simple. The Holy Spirit wants you to be safe. If someone is an unbeliever, they're an unbeliever, so you relate to them as an unbeliever. But someone cannot claim to be a believer, yet he acts worse than unbelievers. Such an individual enables harm, and you should not have harm in your community nor in your midst. So you cast out those that enable harm. Listen to this. In this case, you cast out the human being that enables harm. Look, there are times you cast out evil spirits. That's true. But there are times you need to cast out the human being that enables those evil spirits. Again, I'm telling you, do not comply with household wickedness. Do not contribute to it. See it for what it really is. Yes, there are people with shortcomings and they make poor decisions. There are people that need help. I'm not saying it just because someone did something out of line or because someone has an issue, you just have to throw them away as if they're trash. I'm not saying that. Just realize that the moment someone becomes enabler of danger, well, in the world they say you need to draw a line. I'd rather say be practical and deal with it in a practical manner. Too often people preserve danger because they want to save their comfort zone. A lot of folks do it. A lot of folks don't want to see who they are involved with. Or better said, they don't want to see what they are involved with. Look, this is the reason why there are times as a believer the Holy Spirit will delete people from you. Because the Holy Spirit sees what they will bring with them. Listen to me carefully. Christ had to be betrayed in order for prophecy to be fulfilled. Not that this excuse what Judas had done, but Christ had to be betrayed. That's why he had to go through it. You don't have to go through it. You don't have to go through that danger. You operate in Christ's protection, and listen to me. I don't care how smart you are, how intelligent you are. I don't care how spirit-filled you are with the Holy Spirit. You are a human being and you are a vulnerable creature, and there are things you don't see. There are things you don't notice. That's why it's important to have like-minded people around you who can notify you when they see something. But even groups of people sometimes don't notice important things. But here's the thing. Nobody can fool the Holy Spirit because he sees everything. He's omniscient. He knows exactly who the Judases are, and he knows exactly when to delete them from you. A Judas doesn't have to be someone that actively betrays you. It can also be someone that enables danger towards you and always has an excuse for that will of theirs, that always has an excuse for their behavior. They come with things like, that's just how I am, or just how I think, or that's just how I feel, or I just love the guy. They always come with these excuses in which they may claim that they don't want to take responsibility. Listen, walking by faith, it means you agree with Christ. Walk as Christ did. Okay? Walk as he walked. Do not comply with household wickedness. Listen, if you have a job somewhere, because you need a job to pay the rent and all of that, the job is your tool. So you do your job well, and because you're dealing with your colleagues and your bosses, you treat them in a proper manner also, both on a professional level as on a human level. But if you notice that the job itself works as a manifestation of household wickedness, let's say that the climate at the workplace, let's say that household wickedness is taking place over there, because household wickedness doesn't only apply to relatives, it also applies to any setting where people are intimate and need one another. Once you notice that there's household wickedness going on there, please keep doing your job, don't be frightened, remain in prayer, restrain the situation supernaturally, and meanwhile look for another job or some other place to be employed. And once you get another job, you get away from there, so you don't become unemployed with all of that. But make sure you restrain the situation supernaturally, by being wise as a serpent and innocent as a dove. And meanwhile, you find for ways to get out of there. Because listen to this, household wickedness seldom just stops. Seldom. It will only get worse. So again, do not comply with household wickedness. That's all for now. Be at peace.